Hey, Wimberg World Entertainment, and sorry it's taken this long, but this is the full review for Fantastic Four First Steps. I've just been busy, I haven't gotten around to actually seeing it, finally seen it, and now I get to review it right on its second weekend where it doesn't seem to be tracking all that well. In fact, it looks like it's going to have a massive drop off. But overall, we're here to talk about the film and what it is. You've basically seen the entire movie in the trailers, that's for sure. If you haven't seen this movie, I will go through non-spoilers and then I'll jump into the spoilers. But there's really nothing to spoil because, again, you've seen the whole story in the trailer. The only thing really to spoil is Galactus. But the thing with Galactus is the very thing I felt would happen. And it's what I've been saying for the past while. And it's absolutely spot on. He is basically the end of the movie. And he's in it at the end for probably less than 10 minutes. I'm not really sure what the time frame was because it just seemed to be very quick. He really does nothing. Now, there are two other clips of him, one of which you've seen. Actually, the two of them you've seen in the trailer. It looks like it's the same scene, but it's broken into two different parts. He shows up for a brief moment the first time we meet him at the, I think it's the about 40-minute mark. Silver Surfer comes down at the 20-minute mark of the movie. So the Fantastic Four have been established for, yeah, you've guessed it, 4 years. There's now world peace, all that type of stuff. They are the protectors of the world. There's pretty much no governments left because they all seem to answer and call upon Fantastic Four. Sue Storm, of course, is pregnant now. She brokered a deal with Mole Man, all this. By the way, and let's get this absolutely clear right now. Anyone that's telling you this is not a girl boss movie are living on a different planet because this is 100% a Marvel girl boss movie. Who brokered the deal for world peace? Yes, Sue Storm. Who brokered the deal with the Mole Man to get peace between New York and his underground city? Yeah, it was Sue Storm. Who pretty much defeats Galactus single-handedly at the end? Sue Storm. Who helps her once she finishes the main part of pushing Galactus through a portal? Silver Surfer. So it is girl boss story all the way through. She's even the one who calms people down when the threat of Galactus is coming. So why does Galactus choose Earth? Well, Shalabal chooses Earth. Obviously, the Silver Surfer, she shows up, says your planet's been marked for dead. You've seen the clip. It's weird with her voice as well because in the original trailer, her voice was normal. Then in the second trailer they put out where they showed you, or maybe it was that extended clip, her voice was modulated. The movie has a kind of both ways where it seems to be normal, then slightly modulated at times, but then normal again. I don't know what went on with that, but by the way, she looks terrible. The CG on Silver Surfer is terrible. There's no arguing that. It looks terrible. But she comes down, chooses Earth. Fantastic Four go up to meet Galactus. They're not even sure what Galactus is, but they go up. They take their ship. They go to basically warp speed with this big ring thing that their ship connects into. They arrive at a planet as it's getting destroyed by Galactus' ship. They go down. They get trapped in a tractor beam, pulled onto the ship, meet Galactus. Galactus scans them, sees that Sue was pregnant and that the baby Franklin will have the power to take Galactus's place. So Galactus wants to be free of the throne and eating and consuming planets. He just wants to rest. Yes, that's right. Galactus wants to retire, even though that's not what Galactus is, but overall, that's what they're pushing it as. So he makes them a deal. Give me the child and I'll spare your planet. And of course they say no to that. They go back to Earth and tell people, yeah, he asked for a price that's too high. He asked for our child. Earth immediately turns on them. But don't worry, that doesn't last long. That is something the movie could have done. They could have built that tension more and more, but they don't. They let it simmer for like 2 or 3 minutes and then immediately end it. I think they could have done a lot more with that, but no. And again, it's Sue Storm who comes out and kind of just says, oh, you know, I'm not going to sacrifice my baby for the Earth, but I'm also not going to sacrifice the Earth for my baby. And that's where you get that moment where you see it in the trailer. We're going to do it as a family. She's not even talking about the Fantastic Four there, she's talking about the whole Earth. But Galactus, of course, comes down and they have to trick Galactus into leaving the ship to come into Manhattan to push him through a portal. The portal idea is, you see it earlier, Reed Richards has been able to teleport an egg from one side of the room to the other. But it takes massive amounts of energy, to the point that he's shutting down the power grid basically in New York when he's doing it. So he comes up with the plan to get rid of Galactus. We're going to move the Earth. Now, people have been pointing out that how could he do that and have the Earth survive, because you would need the moon and stuff like that. They don't specifically tell you they're taking the moon with them, but when you see a graphic of the kind of the what the project is and the idea, it encompasses the moon as well. So it does actually, the plan does actually involve bringing the moon. But there's still so many other factors to take into account with something like that physics just wouldn't realistically allow. But either way, it doesn't work. That's what you see in the trailer, with the big blue beams shooting up. In the trailer, you see it from France. You see the big blue. That's the devices that they place all around the world to teleport the Earth out of the galaxy to somewhere else. But as they turn it on, Silver Surfer destroys them. Johnny has a talk with her and convinces her basically to switch sides. The way it's done is stupid and doesn't make sense. We'll get to that when we get to spoilers. Again, you see I'm kind of spoiling the movie, but at the same time I'm not, because everything you've seen in the trailer, there's nothing to spoil. Just how Galactus is defeated. That's pretty much the only thing to spoil in this. So, is it a good movie? I suppose I'll say all this before I jump into spoilers in case you haven't seen it and you want to see it. But is it a good movie? No, not really. To be honest with you, it's not. It's very much like the Superman. It is just a meh movie. Yeah, it's better than Captain America, Brave New World and Thunderbolts, but that's not saying much. You know, nothing really happens in it. They do really kind of hide Reed Richards' powers. He really doesn't use them. When he does, it's to do like daily task type of things. Like he's sitting at a desk and he just wants to grab something. He just stretches to grab it. They really don't highlight his powers. Ben Grimm as the Thing, they do not really use at all. You know, the main thing he does, again, is what you see in the trailer of him running through the pillars of the building, and that's done for a particular reason. Johnny Storm, he's constantly using his powers. Like, constantly. Just not the way you'd think. Not to actually fight crime or anything like that. It's literally, oh, the lights are out. Hang on, I'll just fire up, you know, and kind of stuff like that. Sue Storm, her powers, again, she barely uses. She mainly uses the invisibility when she's kind of angry almost. It's almost like she can't control the invisibility part at times. It's weird. And Herbie's fine, you know, it's there. Doesn't really speak English or anything, just beep bop boops type thing, which is fine. But yeah, he's fine. He's not a crypto annoying. He doesn't come bursting in to ruin a moment or anything like that. So Herbie's fine. The visual effects are terrible for the most part. You know, there's parts of it that look fine, but the majority of it are terrible. Especially Ben Grimm when he's walking. When in the suit, when he's in like this Fantastic Four suit, it looks awful, especially when he runs. Galactus, for the most part, looks good, except when he comes down to New York, and the way they have him move looks awful. By the way, that's one thing with Galactus, is his size. He should be massive, and his size seems to fluctuate. He's not bigger than the city, you know. He doesn't seem to be able to grow or shrink, right? And he is just a standard size. Again, that seems to go up and down though. That's the thing. So when we see him in the trailer walking through New York, that's his size. Until it isn't, because Ben Grimm picks up an oil tanker and throws it at him, and the whole truck and trailer, like, of this oil tanker are pretty much the entire size of Galactus's chest. But then you're seeing Galactus standing on trucks and they're tiny to his feet. He's trying to grab people and they're like little ants to his hands, but then he does have like baby Franklin in his hand, and the baby is like, you can see him in his palm of his hand and you can still see his fingers because he's obviously not all that big. One moment he's towering over buildings, next minute he's kind of in between the height of the buildings. So his height is weird. It fluctuates. It's like they forgot how big they had him and they were kind of trying to match him to different things. Him walking through New York does more damage to New York than the entirety of Metropolis being split in half in Superman. And that's no joke. There was more damage done to the New York city of the 60s kind of thing, futuristic 60s they have here, with Galactus just walking through it, than an entire city being split in half. So it is the most meh movie. There is really no action. The only people we really see the Fantastic Four fight is Galactus at the end of the movie. And by fighting, they really do nothing. It's kind of like throw something at him and run away and stuff like that. Until Sue Storm just uses her powers to push him. And it's like, wow, this is it. This is what the movie is. It's really weird that way. Johnny Storm, for some reason, has the hots for Silver Surfer from the second he sees her. Don't know why, but... And they kind of make a joke leading to why that is, which is that Johnny loves space. He also loves women. And here's the perfect combination of a space woman. Yeah. Marvel humor, there's really none of it in this movie, oddly enough. They do try and do humor, but it doesn't work at all. The only real kind of stick out Marvel humor joke is at the end of the movie with Reed, Ben, and Johnny trying to put a car seat into the Fantastic Four car. That like it kind of goes on a bit, but that's the only true kind of Marvel style joke. It's also not funny either. So overall, would I recommend this movie? No, not particularly. Again, it's not the worst out of the three Marvel movies we have right now. It's definitely not the worst, but it is just more of the same Marvel slop. That's just like, yeah, you can see where they changed things and they really didn't know where this was going. And that's the thing, there are quite a few scenes from the trailer that are missing from this. So, and we know they did reshoots, so they obviously just moved it. As for Silver Surfer, why did she become Silver Surfer? Was it the same as what the true Silver Surfer, Norman Rad, did? That he sacrificed himself to save the people he loved and stuff? No, it's because she was a single mother. That's why. A single mother. And she got chosen and whatever. So it is the biggest meh movie, and I really wouldn't recommend it. And it is girl boss crap. It's not woke. There's none of that type of messaging throughout the movie. Although there are a few stupid bits in there, like the Silver Surfer coming down saying, hold the ones you love, and it immediately shows you a lesbian couple. But other than that, like, it's just girl bossy crap. So that's it. So with that, I'll just jump into the main spoiler, which is the Galactus defeat, really, and how and why he's on the planet. So you've been warned, we're going into the full spoiler now for this. The idea is because they can't transport the planet somewhere, they just are going to use one remaining portal thing in New York to push Galactus into a portal and get rid of him. So the plan is to use baby Franklin, as bait, which means they have to put him onto the middle of the road in New York. Not knowing that this would actually bring Galactus down, and it doesn't even make sense as to why Galactus would leave his ship and come down to go and get Franklin himself. Number one, why would he not send the Silver Surfer? Number two, how did they know he would even bother to leave the ship to do it? And number three, this is most important, we've already seen that he has a tractor beam. We've seen them use it on the ship, and we've seen it being used to take and transform Shallabal into the Silver Surfer. So why would he not just use that to get the baby? But he doesn't. He decides to come down. This is all Galactus does in this movie. This is all he does. He walks from the water down the street, is about to walk into the thing, stops, realizes because they blinded him, Johnny fired his fire into his eyes, and Sue did something, so he's blinded for a few seconds while Reed swaps out the baby with an empty carrier case thing, gives Franklin to Johnny. Johnny puts him up in the Fantastic Four tower. Doesn't even take him out of New York, just puts him up in the tower. Galactus is about to walk in, stops, has a look around, immediately spots Franklin in the tower and goes, clever little bugs, and starts walking to the tower. Gets Franklin, is about to walk back to go to his throne, because he brings his throne down and he jumps off his throne into the water. He's going to walk back, and then Sue hears baby Franklin crying, and she pushes Galactus with all of her might, single-handedly, into the portal. Reed gets Franklin out of Galactus's hand right as he's falling into the portal. He falls into the portal. Oh, yeah, he holds onto a building. That's the only part you see with Ben Grimm truly using his powers, was running through those pillars, which is in the trailer. That's to collapse the building. Galactus goes in. They think they've won. Sue dies because she used all of her powers and it was too much for her. She dies. Don't worry, not for long. They think they've won. Galactus starts coming back through the portal. Johnny's going to sacrifice himself and he gets Rose T-Code. As he's about to get to Galactus, Silver Surfer knocks him out of the way and she takes his place and she hits him into the portal and she goes through with him. So, girl boss, whole moment. Sue Storm single-handedly pushes Galactus into the portal. Silver Surfer finishes him off by pushing Johnny Storm out of the way, stopping his sacrifice. They vanish. They put the baby on Sue's chest, and all of a sudden she wakes back up because he uses powers. You don't see him using powers, but it's evident that he uses powers because when she opens her eyes, it's all like bluey and stuff. And that's it. That's how Galactus is defeated. That's all Galactus does in this movie. He talks to them in his ship near the start, and then at the end of the movie, for like 7 minutes maybe, he walks from the water to the middle of the Times Square, and then walks from there to the tower, the Fantastic Four tower, and gets pushed into a portal. That's it. That's all he does. He is not just depowered, but he is wasted in this movie. Truly wasted. It's like there was absolutely no point in them using Galactus as the threat for this movie. By the way, time seems to shift in this movie with no kind of indication of how much time, because they go meet him. He induces labor. Galactus is the one who induces labor on Sue. They escape his ship, by the way. How and why, don't know, because why didn't he just turn the tractor beam back on? But that's another thing. They escape. She has the baby. They arrive down. People instantly turn on them. Then she comes out and says, I won't do this. After 5 minutes, then everyone's back on their side. So that's weird. But Galactus instantly went from wherever he was to Jupiter, and then seems to take months to get from Jupiter to Earth, because they have time to build these things to teleport the Earth all around the world. They have time to come up with a plan. They have time to do this, all of this type of stuff. And after Galactus is gone and we meet them again, it's that we're told 9 months have passed. So the movie ends with them going on another mission. We don't know for what or what it is. And that's where it's made with the joke of they're standing there waiting, like Sue's standing there holding little baby Franklin, just watching Reed, Ben and Johnny try and put a car seat into the car. And that's the end of the movie. Post-credit scene, don't even waste your time with that. It's like 3 seconds long. It's Doctor Doom. Yes, it's Sue. The leaks, by the way, were true. It's Sue in the room with baby Franklin. She buggers off to get him something, comes back, walks into the room, and you see baby Franklin being held by a cloaked figure holding a mask. It's Doctor Doom. We don't see his face. He doesn't say a word. We just see him from the back for literally a blink, and it's over. And that's it. That's the whole movie. So, yeah, it doesn't even truly set up Doomsday. So, it's stupid in that way. But, overall, that is the movie. It is, again, a super girl boss movie that is pure nah. So, more Marvel slop in my opinion. So, with that, I shall leave it there for this one. So, like, share, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Cheers, and I'll catch you in the next one.